Morning, everybody. It is 8:10 a.m. It is 9/12 or September 12th. Yeah, markets put in all-time highs yesterday in the Qs and the SPY. Okay, so yesterday, right off the bat, internals were super bullish, even though tech off the open was weak majority of the day. Okay, even with the tech being, it wasn't super weak, but it was weak. It's still, the rest of the market was just bullish. Okay. Apple kind of lifted up, and hold on a second. Apple lifted up. I'm going to show you guys again. I'm keep talking about my expected move indicator that I don't know what you're waiting for. I'm going to show you. Okay. The SPY, like I said, still lifted up with that. Now we died right when, of course, I got into a long, and the market looked great on my long. I was just like, all right, because I didn't trust it with tech being weak and we were at close to a VPOC. I knew that if my trade could not get over the 90s in futures, it was going to be tough sledding. And it literally sat there for hours. And I was confident we would break highs. So I was like, you know what? I was up 4 or 5 points. I was like, my risk was 3 points. Let me go to break even because I know if this doesn't break and keep going, it's going to play games. And that's what it did. And what happened, of course, the trade would have worked. It would have came close to my stop, but it wouldn't have stopped me out. Now, is that annoying? It is. Would I have wanted to sit in that trade that long? No. Right? So there's a deal you have to make in trading. It's like a pick your poison, right? Because some people could say, oh, I put my stop in, and that's where I'm wrong, right? And then you can go with that. So every time I put a trade on, it's stop or target, right? Some people have that. Me, I have too much experience of watching the market where if I don't like something or if I see that we broke a level and now if we come back to even my entry, I'm going to just be like, I would rather have a risk free trade and um, see where the market goes, right? Now, I am tracking when I choose to go break even or holding, right? And I've noticed the majority of the time when even if I just don't like it and I'm like, you know what? I don't like it. It's not moving the way. I'll go to break even. Majority of the time I save myself a full stop loss. So if I don't go to break even, right? But then yesterday would have been a win, right? So still though, I still trust my experience, right? And I'm not saying everybody should do that when you start trading. But that's that, okay? Now, we have Michigan consumer sentiment. Now, I do have I just saw Trump's on, I think, Fox News. I think he's saying that they have the Charlie Kirk shooter in custody. That's a good news. Um, Besides that, we're gonna get into the markets. Okay, I did some digging today into just to see. I have some RRG charts, which are like rotational charts that show you momentum, and I don't. Basically, basic materials is like the hottest sector, right? Mining stocks, materials, pretty interesting. And what else was there? And I saw Warner Brothers. My God, they have like a 29% surge yesterday. That's because Skydance slash Paramount is looking to buy them. Interesting, right? Now, another thing I'm going to show you guys in a sec is seasonality. This is bucking the trend of seasonality this month. September is the weakest month, seasonality. It's the weakest month. Every year, that's the weakest month. And we're setting all time highs. Now, it isn't, the September's not over. Okay. And I'll just pop this up because I'm just going to show you now. the seasonality charts. I've shown you guys this before. But this is seasonality over 10 years for the SPY. Okay. And these gray bars are volume, trading volume. Interesting that March has the highest trading volume over the last 10 years, right? And you can see as March goes down, volume goes down, and it bottoms in July, and it starts to pick up October. So next month should be nice volume, right? In December, right? November dips a little bit. But look at the seasonality. See how it says the lows are usually in September. This is generally what happens. Okay, this is generally what happens. This is the purple of what we're doing. And we did that twice this year. March is supposed to be a pretty weak. I'm sorry. March is not supposed to be weak, but this year the March was weak, right? So it's bucking a little bit of a trend. In May, it's supposed to be a little weak, and we were higher this year. And look, we're supposed to seasonally dip in September, right? It actually says we peak in November's in last 10 years. Very interesting. But we're bucking the trend here. It's pretty crazy. All right, we're bucking the trend. So, that being said, let's get into it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile and volume profile to find structure in the markets, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day, along with market internals. Helps me during the day, right? The other part helps me find structure, make a game plan for these markets, right? It's the best thing, right? When you have something that just gives you a game plan, right? When I first started trading, I didn't know what my game plan was. I didn't know how to make a game plan. I didn't know what to use. I was lost. Okay? Now, I also use Bookmap for my execution, right? I also use the weekly expected move indicator. Now, I don't know if Rosita's in here yet. And I don't know why she hasn't put that on her charts yet. If she hasn't. I mean, she listens to me every day. It takes no longer than probably 5 minutes. It's the huge edge you should have in your pocket. And it's free. I run a script every week on Sunday or Monday morning. And it's just insane how it's insane. Okay? And I'm going to show you examples today. I'm going to show you examples. We're going to get right into that in a little second, okay? I'm going to hit you right off with that. It's pretty crazy. And I don't know why I don't hear any responses in my Discord of like, "Hey, I got it on my chart. This is crazy," because it's crazy every week. Okay? Now, hopefully, because I give you golden nuggets, you subscribe to my channel. Because I'm giving you the market story. What's going on in the markets? Okay? What is going on in the markets? The news, the economic calendar, the leaders and the laggards, right? Why is the market doing what it's doing? I tell you that. I'll give you technical analysis. I'll give you a free indicator on my Discord. Okay? So just let me be your morning coffee, tea, water, whatever you drink. Okay? And just put me on and go, oh, that's why the market's doing what it's doing. Okay, cool. Oh, that's why that stock is doing that. Oh, nice. Because I'm going to hear from you. You just listen for the first 15, 20 minutes. You get what's going on. All right? Now, if you want to get more in depth, of course, you join my Discord, Confluence Trading. More in depth live commentary, right? Here's my Discord. All right? I start you off with today. What? The live stream. Put that in here for you guys. Here's the link. After my live stream, I give you the short and exact places I give you my scenarios in the 1 hour levels. Right? Give you my trade recaps. When I take a trade, I make nice videos and tell you why I took them. I give you my trades. There's my trade yesterday. Look, I was long. right here. Look at that nice little move here, right? It looks all great, like gravy. And I'm like this, okay, cool. And I waited and I waited and I said, cool. And I said, I'm moving my stop to break even if we continue. And see that VPOC there? I knew that could be a problem. I knew it. So I said, if we start to come back, and of course, what it did, it took me out by like a tick. It took me out by a tick, but it did wind up coming down here again. It wouldn't have stopped me out, right? And then I got stopped. All good. Weekly expected move. Here it is. It's where you put it on your charts, all right? It's free. It's free. It's like such a big edge. It's insane. The beauty of trading, okay? And if you're not seasoned, okay, the beauty of trading is finding stuff that stops you from doing stuff. Now, when you're new, just like me, you want to long everything, you want to short everything. Everything's a casino. Every day's a casino. When you start to get into it and you take it serious, you realize it's not a casino. It's not gambling. It's about probabilities. And it's about putting those probabilities in your favor. So when you have something like a weekly expected move that gives you the range for this week, it's a gold. It's gold. Because now I know, oh look, hey guys, AMD hit its expected move for the week already. What do you think AMD did after it did that? We're going to get into it, trust me. But I'm just saying, I don't know what you're waiting for. Sign up to my Discord, put it on your chart, your desktop app. You go to setup, open shared item, put it in your charts, then you can have it on your phone. And it literally, wouldn't you like to know AMD hit its expected move to the upside in the beginning of the week when you're bullish on AMD? Well, I'm not going to go long AMD. The move's done. And when I say that, it's like 70% of the time, this is the way it is. It's a probability. There's outliers. So, okay, nothing's foolproof. Nothing happens all the time. But this happens a lot. All right? So just sign up. All right? All right. Now, that being said, we'll look at the watch lists. And then we're going to look at that expected moves. Because it's like, whoa. Okay? Trust me. Futures, let's do it. I'm very passionate today. That expected move. It's like a little baby of mine. All right? Let's look at this market. Right? Crude is up almost 2%. That's generally not good for the markets, okay? That's keep switching places with Ethereum. Ethereum is almost 2%. Silver, I'm loving it. Proud holder of silver. Up 1.30. 10-year yield, look at that little guy. It's up 1% today. It actually dipped below 4% yield yesterday. It went to 3.99. And looks like bonds are being sold a little bit. Bitcoin, 115, it's up 0.27. The dollar's up 0.24. Gold's up 0.20. Nasdaq's up 0.08. It's kind of flat, right? ES pretty much flat, down 0.06. The VIX is down 0.20. Dow is down 0.23. 30-year bonds being sold. That's why yields are up. Russell is very rate sensitive. It's down 0.44. There you go. Now the Mag 7 Plus. All right. Microsoft is leading the board. They have some deal with OpenAI or ChatGPT. And we'll get into it. But that's powering Microsoft. Now Microsoft coming into this week was very, very oversold. Very oversold. And it was coiling. It was coiling. And if you watch the price action of Microsoft this week, it was pretty, I would say, insane. Big move up, and it would lose it. Big move up, and it would lose it. Well, now it's breaking out. Okay, it's breaking out. This was bound to happen. It was coiling. It was oversold. I'm not a big guy in like oversold you, but there is something to like wow, it really was hit after earnings. Okay, Coinbase up 1.02%, AMD up 0.66, Broadcom up 0.30. All right, Tesla had a nice day yesterday. I'm also a proud owner of Tesla. Tesla actually broke out of a key level yesterday. Now, is there a laggard today? Apple's down 0.23, JP Morgan down 0.35. United Healthcare is getting a little love, up 0.70 right now. Top sectors, there's not much to talk about there, but we'll go granular. Let's go granular. Supermicro computers, just talked about these, I want to call them AI. We'll talk about it in a little bit. I don't know. My mind's like, they're rolling out these AI servers, I believe. Okay. So they're up 6.37%, Tilray up 3.77. Now, also what's up today is that Warner Brothers. I don't have them in this list. I probably should add them. All right. They're up something like 29% yesterday. All right. Micron's up 1.11. Adobe beat earnings and gave good guidance. I'm a little scared of what Adobe, knowing that what the artificial intelligence is doing, what you could do on your own. Okay, with other AIs. Now they use AI as well. So Core Eve's up 1.52. Nothing really earth shattering here. Now, who's down? I can get a Vertiv Para because I believe they're no longer, I think, Skydance now. Really, ANET, I believe that's Arista Networks, down almost 2%. AMAT, Applied Materials, is down. They got a downgrade. TAP, that's like Cores and Molson, I believe, down 1.12. Cisco, down 1%. That's really it. Okay? What am I doing? What am I doing? All right, let's go back. All right, let's moving on to sectors. Now, today's Friday. All right. Semis, just saying it's the end of the week. Weekly expiration today. Semis are up 0.29. Semis are up 0.29. Energy's up 0.17. Technology's up 0.14. The little laggards down here are basic materials, which had a good day yesterday, and financials down 0.22. All right. All right. Now I might have lied to you a little bit. I'm going to go into the economic calendar and the news, and then we'll move into the expected move. The expected move. All right, moving on. Let's look at what we got on the docket today. We have Michigan consumer sentiment. That generally moves markets. So that's at 10 a.m. If I don't have an A plus trade around 9:40, 9:45, I'm probably just going to wait to the dust to settle. Okay. What else? Let's give us the juice. Trump was talking at 8 o'clock. He has the shooter. And apparently, what I saw was he was saying that somebody close to him turned him in. And they're very confident that's the guy, which is great news. All right. Now, I don't see much here yet with Trump today. All right. I don't see anything that's crazy here. All right. Let's go into some stock news here. I just talked about Adobe stock rose 3.4%. They gave good guidance. I talked about the restoration hardware stock slump 8.3% after the luxury furniture maker reported a quarterly revenue miss. Here's the Supermicro computer. Supermicro computer stock rose 6.5% after the AI tech firm announced it has begun volume shipments of its NVIDIA Blackwell Ultra solutions to customers worldwide. Here's the Microsoft news. Microsoft stock rose 1% after the software giant and OpenAI said they had reached a non-binding agreement over the AI startup's plans to transition to a for-profit organization. Now here's the Warner Brothers, which I wasn't even aware of until I did the RRG charts this morning. Gained 7.7 today, but yesterday gained 28%, following a report that indicated Paramount Skydance was preparing a bid for the Hollywood studio. Now here's the Applied Materials. Stock fell 1.1 after Mizuho downgraded the tech company. Okay. Moving on to more news. Talking about the Microsoft. Okay. Boeing falling behind on certifying its 777X. All right. Crypto exchange Gemini prices IPO above range to raise 425 million. All right, let's see what else here. Don't see anything. We already talked about the Microsoft. Let's see what they're saying. CEOs of the ChatGPT maker and NVIDIA plan to pledge support for billions of dollars in UK data center investments when they heard the country next week at the same time as US President Donald Trump. All right. Rivian's recalling 24,000, more than 24,000 vehicles. Adobe, Piper Sandler cuts target price. They still got a price target cut. Interesting. GE Vernova, Jeffrey raises target price. I'm a proud owner of GE Vernova. That thing is a beast. Woof. Didn't even give me, I was like, oh, I'll add. It took off like a rocket. Um, Norwegian Cruise Lines, JP Morgan raised target price to 43 from 39. All right. I think maybe look at breadth charts today. Let's look at the breadth. 62. Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. We'll get into the market internals in a second. 62% stocks are over their 20-day simple moving average. Yesterday, we were at 42. Remember, I was like, it's kind of in the middle of the road, right? Well, because yesterday, the whole market was up, but the big boys. Tesla was up, but like the big boys were not doing much. So the overall breadth of the market was very strong yesterday. Okay? Very strong. Now, I think it's time. I think it's time that we get into that expected move. We're going to go around and then we'll get into dailies, but I got to talk about the expected move indicator. Okay? And starting with the SPY. And it's just uncanny when I run the script. It's a Python script. How these levels just, it's insane. Okay? Let's look at the daily charts. All right, this is the daily charts, but we're going to go over expected moves first. Now, just so you know, when you put the expected move indicator up, you will have these bubbles up here. These bubbles up here, right? It showed this week expected move $11.15. The range to the downside was 636.09. To the upside was 658.39, and it also tells you the close of Friday. There's Friday's close, the black line. This is how the indicator shows up on the charts. Okay? Look where the SPY went yesterday and found resistance. Can you make that up? Can you make that up? SPY hit its expected move to the upside yesterday. Okay? Now, can the SPY still go over that today? Yes. 70% of the time we close within this range. So you could even do above it today. And I would say there's a good chance we close back below it. Okay? Now that you have the S&P 500 hit its expected move for the week, right? So you're going to have many stocks that hit its expected move for the week. And you want to look at the stocks that move the market. Okay? You want to look at stocks that move the market. So, what are the stocks? Let's go over it. And you're going to see what I'm talking about. Here's Apple. This is how powerful, right? You're looking at Apple here, right? Apple, nobody liked the event they had. Nobody was impressed. Well, what did we do? Apple hit last week's lows, and it was pushing past the expected move to the downside. That's the red bar, right? The expected move to the downside was $230. No, I'm sorry, $230.09. And I was like, that's overdone. Look what Apple's doing. It wants to close back inside the range. You see what I'm talking about? I see this all the time where it's like, oh, that just went past its expected move. I'm not going to short Apple. Look at that. Whoop. And where are we at now? 220. So it's a little farther down today. But I would not be shocked if this thing closed inside the range of today. Okay? That's your Apple. Let's go to another big boy, Nvidia. Notice where it is. Notice where it is. Now, if you're looking at it, all right, we can even break this down to a lower time frame. Let's do that. Let's go down to hourly. Right? And when you have this day, this is pre-market. Let's just go to real-time trading hours here. Okay? This is an hourly. This is what? 9:10. This is the beginning of the week. Oh my God, Nvidia is a monster. Oh my God, it broke the expected move to the upside, right? Oh my God, went right back to it. Oh my God, it's so strong. Where did it go? Oh my God, do you see what I'm talking about? The expected move would make me not want to long Nvidia. Why would I want to go long? Look how many fake outs it's doing. You see what I'm talking about? I don't know what you're waiting for. Okay? Let's move on. I'm going to go back to the dailies. Just to show you. Let me just put it back to how I had it. We'll zoom out. We'll get back. All right, let's move on. Another heavyweight. Let's go to, because there's a lot of these, okay? Well, not a lot of these, but I'm just making sure. AMD. Let's go to AMD. Now remember, I wanted to get long AMD. Like I said, I don't like anything, but I told you I want to get long AMD because it hit the anchored VWAP right here. See the anchored VWAP from 2024? I said anytime stocks usually hit that, it's bullish. And look what it did. AMD rose up. But guess what happened? AMD hit its expected move. Now look, it hit last week's highs. You could think, oh boy, people are now going to get into AMD. What happened? Fell back into range. Now Rosita's sitting here saying pretty amazing, but she said to me, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. For 5 minutes. For 5 minutes. Put it on your charts. Right? That's AMD. Let's keep going. Okay? Eli Lilly. Where did it go? Hit its expected move to the upside yesterday, and you got a wick. And you got a wick, right? Whoop. Moving on to Netflix. Okay? Netflix. What do you see here? Netflix. It hit its expected move to the downside, and what happened to it? What happened to it? Whoop. I mean, how much proof do you need? Do you see what I'm talking about? Tell me that isn't like an edge. Tell me that you wouldn't want that on your chart. Because someone might see this and go, oh, I'm shorting Netflix tomorrow. Do you see what I'm talking about? Okay? Moving on. Coinbase. What did it do? Coinbase hit its, look, this day, You could tell me, oh my God, I'm getting into Coinbase. I'm going long. Oh, it hit its expected move to the upside. Oh, it tried to go above it again. And what did we do? Closed inside. Now, don't get me wrong, it's at 327 right now, but still, doesn't mean that, oh, this is a monster long. Let's try it a couple times, right? I'm gonna leave it with. No, I'm not gonna leave it with. There's two more. Broadcom. And this is the one that I really want to show you guys. What's crazy. Because I was like, ooh, Broadcom ripped above the most expected move to the upside here, right here. And I was like, wow, it's really going past it. And look what it's doing now. Look what it did yesterday. Big sell off, right? Does it want to come back to its home, to the expected move, which was 355? Maybe. You see what I'm saying? Even if there is goes above it, the room to the upside is limited. I'm going to leave it with the last one here, Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway is the number one holding in the financial sector. What did it do? Well, you broke the expected move to the downside. And then what happened? You wicked up and had a nice day up. Okay? You see what I'm talking about? Jorge, does it work on TradingView or Top Step? Not right now. I only have it working in Thinkorswim. Now, I don't know if you're in America or not, but Thinkorswim's free. The app's free. Okay? Tell me if I'm a salesman right now, this would be selling off the shelves. I mean, I don't know how much evidence I would need to show you that this is invaluable. Okay? It's invaluable. I'm telling you, a biggest edge to have is not only when to put a trade on, is to when not to trade. Okay? It's when not to trade. And I mention this in my Discord. It's not like I don't mention it. Okay? The other day, I had a list, and I was telling everybody, here, look, the stocks that hit its expected move to the upside. Coin, Broadcom, Nvidia, AMD. Expected move to the downside. Apple, Berkshire Hathaway. It's not like I don't even tell you in my Discord. Okay? So, now, I don't know how many people are watching. More people should be watching. Because, like I said, it's a script that I run on the weekends or Monday morning. It's in Python, and it does interpolation of certain stocks because certain stocks have wider spreads. Now, let me say wider strikes. Okay, like a Coinbase, it's like a $5, or like a Tesla. So then my script, I had to do some interpolation because sometimes that's a big range, right? But Apple has like dollars. SPY has dollars, right? Now, don't get me wrong. SPX, I haven't even looked at that. Let's look at the SPX. I don't know where that is. Let's look. Well, what do you know? We hit the expected move to the upside. What do you know? There's the SPX. There's the SPX. 65.92.64 was the expected move to the upside, and we hit it. Now, last week, this SPX hit the expected move to the downside right here. And I said that in my channel. I said, caution shorts here. The SPX, because that Tuesday morning it would look like the earth was ending in the markets. And I was like, oh, wow, we just hit the expected move on Tuesday? And what did the market do? Boop, 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 went up, right? All right. I'm done with my spiel. Okay. So, again, You want this expected move indicator? You join my Discord, Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. Yeah, Rosita, I don't know what you've been waiting for. You watch every week I show this stuff. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Especially what I would say, it's for like swing trading, right? Especially for swing trading because yes, you can day trade a stock and the stock could still push above it, right? You can still get that move intraday. But if you're swing trading and I see, ooh, AMD just went over its expected move. So now I know there's a 70% chance it doesn't close outside of it, it closes inside of it. I'm not going to go long. Okay? Now, of course, you might be like, now you come up with your own system, but you could be like, ooh, I might short. Now, what I've seen, I'm going to be honest with you. This is what I've seen. Okay? And I'm trying to build a system with advanced options around it because I know how to do advanced option spreads, right? What I've noticed the pattern was if the stock hits the expected move to the downside twice, I've noticed that it has a big rally the following week. That's happened with Eli Lilly, Berkshire Hathaway. I believe Netflix usually has a big rally. Okay. I'm still collecting data on that, but you know, in options you can do low risk things with a payout. So that's why I'm saying I like to use options that way. All right, enough of that stuff. Okay. I'm glad, Rosita, you were not. Maybe I'm assuming you're watching today and not like listening, or maybe I'm explaining it so well that you're just listening. But I hope you saw it because the visual is everything. The visual is everything. Okay. Now in my script that I have that I run, I can put any ticker in it. I can put any ticker in it. Any ticker. Right? But in my script that I give you guys, it's the tickers that matter. Okay? It's the tickers that matter. All right. I'm not going to go over dailies today. We know we made all-time highs. I don't think I need to go over that much, okay? I'm not going to go into the hourlies. We're going to go right into the market profile because I took some time to explain it, the indicator. That is free. I don't know how long I'm going to make it free, okay? But Jorge gave me a good idea. I could make it for TradingView. I can. Okay? All right. Let's move on. Let's move on. Oh, the one thing I am going to show you is the market internals. And I missed that long. I in my Discord, I made a video of what I was seeing, okay? Here's the internals for yesterday. Let's recap it real quick. And like I said, I know it took time, but I felt that was important to show you the power of that indicator, okay? This is beefy and bullish is all bullish, okay? Valdi, okay? This is basically the ratio of volume going into up stocks versus down stocks. It was 4.5 to 1 on the NYSE. That is bullish, folks. 3.5 almost to 1 in the Nasdaq exchange. These are exchange level. Okay? Exchange level means like 3,000 stocks in each exchange. That's why this equal weight was so much stronger than the market cap. Because tech was weak. See how tech was the outlier? But it didn't matter. The whole market was friggin' beefy. That's why I wanted the long right here. Right around like here, actually, in the futures. Very close to, I was literally, my finger was on my mouse going, okay, all right, I just want to, and when I said I just want to see, it ripped, and I don't chase. So I was like, God, that would have been a monster. That would have been a monster, but all good. Moving on. Moving on. Very passionate today. Very passionate. Not sure if Jorge is still with us or who's with us. All right. Now, let's look at the market profile, volume profile. Let's get into this, okay? The beauty, and let me just say one more thing about the expected move indicator, right? Wouldn't you like something to just almost put you in a box? To go, ooh, that's like an electric fence, like a dog, right? To go, oh, I'm not going long there. Do you know how great that feels? Oh, I'm not going to long that now. Oh, I'm not going to short that now. And there's outliers. That's trading, though. There'll be outliers that go past it, but the probability's on your side, folks. All right, let's look at this. All right, let's look at this profile. Oh, really? You gonna do this to me? I gotta reset this little pen here. Man, I'm passionate today. Whew, I can feel it. I can feel it. All right, here we go. All right, first thing, we look at that profile. Now, I have to say, all right, I have to say it. We know SPX has hit its expected move to the upside. We know the SPY has hit its expected move to the upside and a bunch of other stocks. Nvidia, Broadcom, etc. Okay? What I have to say here is, look, value is still at your 6503s. The market has not been able to make price follow it. Now, this is a contender, the 6591s. It is. This could very well become the most traded price of the week. Okay, but if it can't, that doesn't bode well, and you go back to value. I don't know if that happens. Okay? I don't know if that happens. Now, we're in the middle of yesterday's range right now. We have a nice little bullish imbalance of the profile. All right? Now, notice yesterday, the 50% retracement of yesterday's 65.76, that lines up with the overnight lows, folks. And then I'm going to make a little box. Now, if you know me, and Rosita knows me, we had an open test drive yesterday open. Now, what did that leave? It left a thin little toothpick. And if you want to look at this as an elephant, here's an elephant with its little nose here. Okay, that's a pretty good elephant. But I got a better one. All right. Now, what I want to tell you is about Elfie. Elephant on a toothpick. Okay. God, that's a really good elephant. Here's the toothpick. Now, can a toothpick hold up an elephant? No. Okay. This is the foundation you have holding up this price action. Now, here's the caveat. Don't get too excited. It cuts both ways. Now, if the market is weak, guess what happens to this toothpick? Elfie breaks it, and we do this. Zoom. It gets cut through a hot knife, like a hot knife through butter. However, here's the caveat. If the market comes down to the 50% Fibonacci of yesterday, and you find support in the single prints, that is bullish. And that toothpick should be worth $1 million. Okay? That's how that works. All right. Now, we do have a supply zone here. And I'm going to make a little level here. This is going to encompass the all-time highs from yesterday. Notice the all-time highs is 6,600 on the nose. Psychological number, right? So, do we break that today? I don't know. Can we have a blow off top today? Maybe. Maybe. Okay. Now, 6590s are going to be a key level. Okay. We know longs are here. All right, write it down. 65.90. We go away to the downside from that. The longs are going to panic. Trust me. It's not like prediction. That's what volume tells me. Look, most traded price of yesterday and the most traded price of the overnights is 65.90. So any kind of push up and you come through it, you're going to sell off. 65.90, write it down. Okay? We have our single prints down here. That's our weak foundation. Remember, bullish if it's held, bearish if we're weak. Then we have a demand zone right here underneath yesterday's lows. You have your breakout level around the 65, 62s here. That's the previous day's highs, right? So that's in this mix. That's the levels I'm looking at today. Now we're going to get right into scenarios. Let me break out the profile for you. Let's break out the profile. Boom. All right. Boom. Let's get into scenarios now. Not sure still who's with me. All right. Let's do bull. Sound like a caveman almost there. All right. So 65.90. Remember I talked about that. Cuts both ways. Okay. So if I'm bullish, I want to see this. I want to break that supply. I want to set new all-time highs. And I'd like to go, oh, let's get a pullback to 65.90. It could turn into the most traded price of the week. If we hold it, we could just dribble up into the weekend. Okay. The next spot would be, let's make this range a little bigger here. Would be the only other time would be we pull back. We go away from this 65.90s, like I said, should cause some selling. If we take out the overnight lows, which happens to be 65.76. Okay? If we go into the singles, remember, like I said, if we go into singles and they're supportive and we do one of these, that's bullish. We could possibly make our way back up to 65.90s, and that could be the end of the day, and we just do this. That's the only longs I'm interested in. That's it, folks. And I have to have in my brain, we've already reached the expected move. I have to have that in my brain. Now, in the beginning, it would make me extra excited to want to short. I'm not excited to short. I just have to put that in my mind to go, I know we really don't have a lot of room in NVIDIA to the upside. Okay? I know we don't have much room in the SPY and the SPX, right? So that's what you have to look at. Now, let's go to the short side. Because the short is actually looking kind of nice. Okay? This is what I want to see. I would love this. Open, rip, make all time highs. We're setting up our bull trap. We know we reached the expected move for the week yesterday. 70% of the time you close back in that range. Okay? So, I would love this move. And with internals, if they are not strong and they are weak, I'm going to be all stalking a short. And the level we're going to play with is the 65.90s. Why? Yesterday's most traded price. Everybody's buying there. It's the overnight most traded price. Everybody's buying there in the overnights. I know they're long. Okay? So let them get long. Take a little, get some paid. Let them go, uh-oh, low or high. Right? And what I want to see is this. Take out 65.90s, retest 65.90s, and yeah, we're going for the 65.76s. Overnight lows and the 50% retracement of yesterday. Now, if this market starts to panic. Remember, the market takes the elevator down and the stairs up. This is down. Okay? We're going to go into where? That's where the elephant on a toothpick comes into play. Okay? That foundation is poor. Okay? I want my hot knife ready. I want the hot knife ready because if the market is weak and we're panicking, we're going to panic and we're going to cut this like a hot knife through butter and take out yesterday's lows. Then we have a key support here, 65.36. Remember that poor low right here. You can blast through that. And we could possibly go down to the 65.20s. I don't know if that happens to 6,500. But that's what I'm looking at, folks. Now, if it's conservative, if you're like, I'm not really sure, what also could happen, this move could happen, and let's say we bounce. But we start to just hold and hold and hold, and the market's weak. Then we could just take out the lows. Okay? That's my ES scenarios. Now we're moving on to the NASDAQs. Now the NASDAQ, that little pesky NASDAQ, I thought it was going to break all-time highs in the futures. It didn't. But we got a level to talk about. Right off the bat, 24048 is your overnight high. It's yesterday's highs. Guess what, folks? Weak traders are there. Weak. Big institutions don't go in at a certain tick in trade. They don't care. So this level, boy. Woo-wee. All-time highs right there. And you got that level. You know the market's going to break that level. It is going to break it. Okay? And we also have right here, you got value area low from yesterday, overnight lows in the midpoint of yesterday. That's your defense for bulls. Okay? That's your defense for bulls. Now, the most traded price of the week is your 23845s. 23845s right here. Okay, so we have a big, this block, I would say, is defense for NASDAQ. Big block here. 23930s all the way down to your 23850s. There's a big demand zone here. You have to lose that in order for me to get macro bearish, but this is a big defense, okay? So we're going to get right into it. Boom. Okay. Big level, 24048. I mean, it's clear as day. Overnight low, yesterday's highs. We're going to break it. I would be shocked if we just don't break it right now because it's right there. Okay? Let's get into scenarios here. Let's get into scenarios. We're going to start with the bull side. I know that NASDAQ wants to break those all-time highs. And there you go. We just broke it. There it is. We just broke it. All right. So all good. All good. So what I want to see, if I'm on a long, which I'm honestly not excited about going long, but I have to put it in here. So I want break all-time highs. And guess what? Let's retest the most traded prices yesterday, and maybe we can dribble into all-time highs. And it's going to be very similar. Or we come through the most traded prices yesterday. We know there's longs there. Let's take them out. Let's go to that overnight low and the midpoint of yesterday, value area low, and let's get some, and then we can maybe dribble as well. After that, I'm probably don't want to be long. If this came down here to this high volume node, I would think about it, but probably not. Okay? That's all I care about in the longs. Short sides. This is really what the oop. Hold on, folks. Okay. Now, short side. Right here. This is what, same scenario, okay? Same scenario. Give me all-time highs, Qs. Yep. Give it to me. Then give me lower high. Okay? Then maybe we cut through the open. And then your 240 2.28 about. That's yesterday's most traded price. I want to cut through that, retest it. That might be the short. Then you're going to the overnight lows. That's your 23968s. If you break that, you're going to go past the midpoint of yesterday, the area low yesterday. You're probably going to test the 23930 as a high volume node, composite high volume node. Then you have a big demand zone with last week's highs. That could be it. If you really want to get a big move, we get it. You go down to the 23850 is your most traded price of the week. Remember, this has not moved higher. Now, at the profile level, we do have a bullish imbalance to this profile. That's why I'm expecting a move higher. Now, conservatively, if you want to wait till the overnight low is taken out and we hold, maybe you get this move or this move. Okay? It's not an easy trade. And you just have to see how internals are. That's the scenarios today, folks. Now, hopefully you enjoyed that. All right? Hopefully you enjoyed that and smash the like button if you did. Helps my channel out. Now, as always, please join me every morning for the market story, the market news, the economic calendar, the leaders and the laggards, a bunch of technical analysis, and my sales pitch of the weekly expected move, which is free. It's not even, doesn't even cost you anything, but it's friggin' awesome. It's a huge edge. Okay? It's a huge edge. Huge. Okay? Huge. So, what do you got to do to get it? Well, got to join my Discord. Confluence Trading. Know what you're waiting for. Go to the YouTube homepage, click on the link, sign up, go right to the channel. All right, I'll show you again. You get into the Discord. I say hello to you, right? Anybody just arrived? Let's see here. This guy just arrived. Okay. Now, you go right down to the weekly expected move. Boom. Click on this link. You copy it. That's it. You put it on your charts. Put it on your phone. What are you waiting for? Okay. If you want detailed intraday market commentary, you come and you join the Discord. I'll give you the updates, folks. I'll tell you what's going on in the markets. I don't steer you wrong. Let me be your indicator. All right. Now, remember, today's Friday. Okay. Today's Friday. Usually they say after 1 o'clock on a Friday, nothing good happens. So I'm hoping. Now, don't get me wrong. The way I've been trading lately, I don't mind trading at 1 or 12 because I've seen setups. But does it decrease in the volume? Yes. I only like it if the volume's there. Now, yesterday, I thought when I got in my long that the market was so strong that it was going to rip. And then it friggin' died for hours. So that's just how it works. Okay. Anyway, everybody have a great day. Stay green. Remember, no trade's a trade. And I'll either see you in my Discord, which you should be there, or I see you Monday.